So please stay with us as we stay on this topic now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russia launched a massive overnight attack using 574 drones and 40 missiles. Ukrainian forces intercepted many, but some strikes hit civilian targets. One missile has destroyed an American-owned factory in Mukachevo, which President Zelensky called a deliberate strike on U.S. investment. Let's listen into what the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had to say.
Сьогодні весь день в частині наших областей тривали роботи після російської нічної атаки. Масована атака. Більше 500 дронів було, 574 були і ракети, зокрема балістика. 40 ракет. Значну частину всього цього наші воїни збили. І важливо, що є така у нас можливість. Є у нас такі відповідні засоби. Більше 30 ракет ми збили, десятки шахедів знищені нашими перехоплювачами. Дякую всім розробникам та операторам. Але, на жаль, були і влучання. Різні області, від Запоріжжя до Волинської області та Закарпаття. В Мукачеві росіяни фактично спалили підприємство, до речі, американське підприємство виробника електротехніки. І це побутові електроприлади, нічого воєнного. Росіяни точно знали, куди б'ють. Це був ракетний удар. Ми вважаємо, це був цілеспрямований удар саме по американській власності тут, в Україні, по американських інвестиціях. Дуже показовий удар. Як і вся ця масована атака. Якраз коли світ очікує від росіян чіткої відповіді щодо перемовин про закінчення війни.
Meanwhile, Russian forces say they have captured the village of Oleksandro-Shultine in eastern Donetsk, Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry released videos showing troops using explosives among buildings. The ministry also claims troops struck Ukrainian energy, military, and airfield facilities overnight, although independent verification of these reports is not available. Meanwhile, several regions in Russia and occupied Ukraine are facing gasoline shortages amid Ukraine's attacks on Russian oil refineries and high summer demand. Targeting refineries include Novokuybishevsk, Syzran, Ryazan, and Volgograd. Authorities warn logistics issues, low stocks, and repair work are making the crisis worse. Residents report long queues and higher prices. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Glenn Grant. He's an ex-advisor to Ukrainian Defense Minister. Joins us live from Kyiv. Thank you, Glenn, for staying with us.
Thank you.
So the reported Russian strikes on a U.S.-owned factory in terms of escalating this international involvement, also U.S.'s involvement, do you think it will make any changes or difference in how U.S. is seeing Ukraine or seeing Russia?
Well, I'll say yes to the US bit first. But what is interesting is this is probably the first strike on Mukachevo, which is right up hard next to the Hungarian border. So I think that this is certainly going to have shaken the Hungarians, who've been very pro-Russian, as you know. And they suddenly realize that nowhere is safe from Russian missiles. And not Hungary. Hitting an American factory so soon after the supposed peace talks is a very clear warning, you might say, to America from Russia that they can't play with this game, and Russia is going to continue to do what it wants to do without interference from America at all. Whether it changes Trump's mind, I have no idea. I don't think anybody does. He's as liable to go against it as he is to go for it. So I think we'll have to wait a few more days to see when this sinks in. Because if Trump wants American investment, which he's talking about, into Ukraine, then he can't afford to have American factories trashed.
And like Glenn, you said that this can be interpreted as a strategic message to U.S. By Russia. So if so, do you think Washington is going to respond in any way, or we don't know what Trump is going to say?
I don't think Trump will. I mean, Trump's only response always is words. I mean, even in the last sort of like 2-3 months, when he said we're supporting with equipment and weapons, they're not, or in many cases that they promised things to Ukraine, which have then been taken away and sent to Israel. And some of the weapons and systems are not things that Ukraine has actually asked for. So I just don't see that America is actually going to suddenly become rational and sensible in this case and actually support Ukraine in any other way other than just Trump's words going up and down all over the media.
And Glenn, do you think now we are seeing a shift in the war's dynamics towards more economic pressure and infrastructure warfare?
Well, that has been going on against Ukraine actually for the last 2 years. What you're seeing, and you mentioned about the fuel in Russia, is that Ukraine is actually getting its act together now and actually using its drones quite effectively, and has closed down, I think, four or five of the major oil refineries. So I think this queues for fuel is going to get worse, not better, because Ukraine realizes now that what it's been doing is working, and so it's going to focus on the energy facilities more and more. And I think that is one thing that may actually bring Russia to the negotiating table.
Thank you, Glenn, for sharing that and sharing the reality of Ukraine right now, all the way from Kyiv. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Now we move on to South America.